fight down our halo.
Hey, what is going on, guys? You got Tone here, coach of the Maine Red Clawitzers, bringing you IBL Season 3, Week 4 against Deebs and his Orlando Mudkip. So now we are coming off of a loss against Lance Forte and his South Florida Blues, but I do feel as though I can bounce back. I don't want to lose 3 games in a row. I don't want to be 1-3. So I feel as though that I have the ability to bounce back after back-to-back losses, like I said. So I'm 1-2. Deebs is coming into this battle 2-1, sorry. And his team, as you see here, is extremely terrifying. The Pokemon you see that's red are his Zmons with Excadrill, Kieran Black, and Silvally. Raikou is a pain. Crobat especially is a pain. Sand, he has Sand with Gigalith, Excadrill. Bulky Physical Wall with Amoonguss and Alomomola. So, and he has that Hawlucha, which can pretty much be anything. So I have to be worried about that. But a couple of things to note about his team is I do not have very good switch into Kieran Black. Raikou is a pain because my electric resists are down to Volt Absorb, Thundurus, and Susume Bachi the Nidoqueen, and which are both of them are weak to HP Ice, so I had to be worried about that. So, and in terms of his Silvally, he doesn't have access to all of the forms. He has to choose 3 forms after the draft was over. So he decided to go with Silvally Ghost, Silvally Electric, and Silvally Fairy, along with Silvally Normal. So those are the only types of Silvally he has access to. So that's something to keep in mind during my team building. So as you notice, I didn't put my team because my team is pretty much substandard at this point. You guys know what it is already. It's just Fat and a Thundurus for offense. I'm just kidding. But anyway, with all that out of the way, I'm just going to jump right into the team that I brought versus Deebs and its Orlando Mudkip. And the first Pokemon you see here is Caltropsy, Ferrothorn, rocking the Yucca Berry with Spikes, Leech Seed, Power Whip, Gyro Ball. Pretty standard OU set on the Ferrothorn here. The defensive investment allows me to take. I avoided 2-hit KO from a Life Orb, Excadrill, Earthquake, and the rest just put into special defense so I could take hits better from like the Raikou, the Amoonguss, if he's HP Fire, but I do have the Yucca Berry, stuff like that. So like I said, this is pretty straightforward. This is my response to his Excadrill, non-superpower Gigalith. Can handle Crobat somewhat well. I won't know how much, but mainly this is for its physical mons. If he's fully physical Kieran Black, it can handle it pretty decently as well. So that is Caltrops. Pokemon number 2, we go on to Navi, our unaware Clefable here, Wish, Protect, Moonblast, and Flamethrower with the leftovers. So the investment on my Clefable allows me to take. I avoid being 2-hit KO'd or 3-hit KO'd by Raikou's Thunderbolt, barring he's not Life Orb, which I don't really expect. But if anything, I expect him to be like a Calm Mind variant, which is why I have him unaware over a Magic Guard. I can stop Calm Mind Raikou, I can stop SD Hawlucha, just basically set up mons that he has on his team like that. Maybe a little bit out of the norm, but something to keep in mind. I didn't want to get swept by Calm Mind Raikou, because he did do that earlier in the season. He got 5 kills with Raikou. I don't want that to happen to me, which is why you explained this EV spread. Flamethrower is that way Excadrill doesn't get a free switch in, and Wish Protect just to get back health, as I can't run Softball as I'm unaware, and the rest just put into defense to take on physical hits a little bit better. So that is Clefable. Moving on to Pokemon number 3, we have Inanna, Bulky Starmie, once again, Scald, Rapid Spin, Recover, and Psychic this time, so I can hit the Amoonguss harder than Ice Beam, hits the Crobat. It gives me the best neutral coverage against an entire team to go along with Scald. I can Fish for burns. Psychic does some more damage to stuff like Alomomola. Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards, although its only hazard setters are Stealth Rock Excadrill and Stealth Rock Gigalith, but that's about it. But I don't want anything to wear down my Mons, especially my Thundurus Therian, which is pretty much going to be my offense this week, as you'll see later on. So max HP, max speed, speed tie with the Raikou, rest in special attack just to, because there's nowhere else to put it, basically. So this is backup response to his Excadrill. It also decently handles Silvally. Handles Amoonguss pretty decently, although Giga Drain is a pain. It can live a Banded Crobat Brave Bird with this EV spread. I can check the Hawlucha. I can handle Gigalith. I can burn it with Scald. Light Part is an issue. Musharna, I can't do much to it. And if I do get a Scald Burn, he synchronizes onto my Starmie. I do have Natural Cure, so that's all well and good. So that is my Starmie set. Next up, we have Susume Bachi back again with Black Sludge, Stealth Rock, Ice Beam, Earth Power, and the Toxic. Now, I initially had Thunderbolt over Toxic on my Nidoqueen, but after doing some calcs and seeing how little Thunderbolt was doing to stuff like Alomomola, I decided to forego Thunderbolt, and I put Toxic on here over Toxic Spice, considering that his Excadrill is immune to Toxic, and considering that with an Earthquake, I didn't want to stay in. And Ice Beam plus Earth Power gave me neutral coverage against the entire team anyway. Toxic is nice for the Musharna. It's nice for if he runs like a bulky Silvally set or whatnot. And maybe for the Alomomola, because Thunderbolt, like I said, wasn't doing much. He could just recover the health back with Regenerator and Wish and all that stuff. And he can beat me 1v1 with Scald. So the investment here I have on my Nidoqueen, 76 EVs in special defense with a calm nature and max HP, allows me to avoid being 3-hit KO'd by, not 3-hit KO'd, it allows me to avoid being 2-hit KO'd by a Raikou Hidden Power Ice, barring it is not Life Orb. And the rest is put into defense, so I can handle Hawlucha pretty well too. It just came to me, so I can check Hawlucha if he does bring it. So Silvally can check Silvally pretty decently, I believe. It depends if he's not special variant, which is more than likely possible if he does bring that Silvally. So yeah, that is my Nidoqueen set. Moving on to Pokemon number 5, we are bringing Vengeance, our Spiritomb, fully physically defensive for the first time this season. Will-O-Wisp, Foul Play, Shadow Sneak, and Pain Split with Infiltrator. Like I said, I don't have much of a response for Crobat. My flying resists are very, very limited, if any, on my team. I can at least take one Brave Bird from a Banded Crobat, repel it like a Foul Play, burn it with Will-O-Wisp. I prefer if I burn it first, then he can't really heal it back up, unless he has, like, Heal Bell and Musharna if he brings that. Shadow Sneak for priority, Pain Split to keep its health, just to get some passive recovery, if any. I was initially going to run, like, a Rest Talk set with, like, Calm Mind and, like, Snarl to deal with Calm Mind Calm Mind Raikou. But I didn't want to rely on Rest Talk like I did with my Turtonator, so I decided to hold back, at least go for Pain Split. He has plenty of Pokemon that has access to reliable recovery, whether it be the Crobat, the Alomomola, stuff like that. So I figured I'd take advantage of that, go for Pain Split, get some health back. In going that route. So yeah, that is going to be the Spiritomb. And last but not least, we have the only offense on this team, which is going to be our Double Dance Thundurus, Therian, Quetzalcoatl here with Nasty Plot, Agility, Thunderbolt, and HP Ground. Rocking enough speed to outspeed stuff like Jolly Max Speed Kyurem, basically max speed base 95s, whether it be Kyurem, Silvally, I outspeed a non-Scarf, Excadrill, barring it's not Sand Rush. And funny thing enough, I did have Dark Pulse over Nasty Plot to deal with that Musharna, but considering Dark Pulse only hits that one Pokemon, I felt it was a waste of time. So I just replaced it with Nasty Plot, go for a Double Dance set with Life Orb, try to break some holes. So as you see, the idea behind this team for Deebs is to just try to get up hazards with Stealth Rock, Nidoqueen, Spikes, Ferrothorn, wear things down with my bulky walls, and then just try to sweep them late game with Double Dance, Thundurus, Therian. So, as for what I'm expecting him to bring, I'm expecting the Excadrill, expecting the Kyurem Black, I'm expecting the Raikou, the Crobat for sure. And in terms of his last 2 Mons, it could be Gigalith for rocks and to set up sand for his Excadrill. And Silvally could be a more likely option, simply because Silvally does have access to like every coverage move under the sun from my team. I'm most likely expecting him to bring Silvally Ghost, so that way my Mienshao isn't for at least high jump kick, although he does have the Crobat. I think he went a full stop to me collecting high jump kick, considering that Scarf Mienshao outspeeds Scarf Excadrill and Scarf Kyurem Black. So although he does have that Alomomola, he has Musharna, which he can bring to stop my high jump kicks. Crobat double resist. So unless he brings like a bulky Crobat, I should be fine. So that is going to be the team builder for this week. So hopefully it come away with a win. Hopefully it can become 2-2. So I'm going to switch over to the battle, so be right back. Alright, so we are here with our week 4 battle of the IBL against Dan, aka Deebs, and his Orlando Mudkip. Now, during the team builder, I did mention that of all the Pokemon he has on his team is very, very scary. I expected 4 Pokemon in particular. I expected Kyurem Black, Excadrill, Crobat, and Raikou. And as you see by the team he brought, he didn't bring the Raikou, which was very surprising considering that my electric resists are limited to just Nidoqueen, which doesn't want to take an HP Ice, and Thundurus Therian, which doesn't want to take an HP Ice, especially considering he gets rocks up. So the fact that I didn't see his Raikou completely threw me off. Nonetheless, his team is still terrifying with the Crobat, Kyurem Black, Excadrill. I did say the last 2 Pokemon were a toss-up. I did expect like Silvally, maybe Silvally Ghost, who knows. Didn't expect Musharna in the slightest, and he does bring the Hawlucha. So in terms of a lead here, I decided to lead off with my Spiritomb basically because of 2 reasons. One, like I said in the team builder, I have no switch-in. I don't have a definite switch-in to a banded Crobat Brave Bird. Like everything on my team, I had to be like extremely bulky to not be 2 KO'd by choice banded Crobat Brave Bird. That's how bad my flying resists were. And number 2 was the fact that Spiritomb was my dedicated response to lead Crobat. So with that all being said, I'm just gonna start the battle here. And as you see, I do it with my Spiritomb. He's going to end up bleeding off with his Crobat as I hoped he would do. So yeah, let's get this battle on the road. So I felt kind of bad considering that I brought like a bulky team. Like my team is literally like 5 defensive Mons and then a Thundurus T. That's basically what my team was. So he don't leave with his Crobat. I leave with my Spiritomb here. Sorry about that little glitch there. So he's gonna U-turn out. As you see by the damage, that didn't look a lot like banded damage, even though I'm a fully physically defensive Spiritomb. And he's gonna go into Coronet his Kyurem Black. I'm just gonna fire off a foul play here, cause it was my best move against pretty much his entire team, and that did a good chunk of damage. But I don't think by that damage output he was a physical variant. So I'm just going to test the waters and see what he is. He's going to reveal the Ice Beam here, and by that damage, I thought it was Scarf Kyurem Black. I'm going to go for another foul play here, and then weaken this thing a little bit more. And then I realized I need my Spiritomb, because if his Musharna is by any chance Barrier Calm Mind, Moonlight, and Stored Power, I have no switch-ins to that, but he does switch out into his Hawlucha, and I'm going to make the double into my Clefable here, because my Clefable can take at least 1 Ice Beam, and I can scout and see if he is Scarf or potential Specs, because I didn't see an item reveal on his Hawlucha. He's going to go for the Poison Jab here, and I'm going to make a little bit of an over prediction here. That's going to cleanly 2-KO me, and he's going to get the Poison too. So I went for Flamethrower here, thinking he would go into Excadrill. As you see, he was Life Orb Hawlucha. So I thought he would go into Excadrill on the Moonblast, but I go for Flamethrower. I do get a crit, no burn, that's fine, but the poison damage is going to suck because, like I said in the team builder, I am unaware Clefable for the, in case he was SD, Hawlucha, or Calm Mind Raikou, which he didn't even bring. So I want to preserve my Clefable here. I'm just going to double out into my Sumebachi and my Nidoqueen, as my Nidoqueen can eat up any hit from this Hawlucha. He's going to go for a Poison Jab, a safe play, just to take out my Clefable, and that's going to do pitiful damage to my Nidoqueen. He takes more Life Orb recoil. Now here, I could have went for my rocks, considering his only way of getting rid of rocks is either Defog, Crobat, or Rapid Spin Excadrill. He's going to pull the switch and go out into his Musharna actually. I'm just going to go for the safe Ice Beam to finish off this Hawlucha. So, income my Ice Beam. I'm not special attack invested this week, and that's not going to do crap to this Musharna. But what it does allow me to do here, as he gets recovery from leftovers, I'm just going to go fire off a Toxic here, because this thing is bulky as hell, and put this thing on a timer. I know he can go me for the Psychic, but I know I can live one hit from a Musharna, as he's just going to go for a Synchronize, so it's going to affect me because I'm a Poison type, and he's going to go for the slow Baton Pass. So he lets his Musharna take the hit, and then he gets the slow pass. He's going to go back out into his Crobat this time. I still don't know what variant this is, but since I'm at a good amount of health, I'm just going to go for Stay In and go for Ice Beam, as he reveals Super Fang. So he cut my HP in half. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam, and it's going to do about half. Yeah, roughly half. And now I see he's Black Sludge. I'm like, oh my god, he wasn't even Choice Band Crobat. Like, I pretty much caught a break, but he was Super Fang. It's still a problem. Now here, I could have went for my rocks, but he goes for the U-turn here. Safe U-turn. Nothing wrong with that. So he's going to make that switch, and this time it's going to go back out into his Musharna here. As I fire off another Ice Beam, I really contemplated to get out my rocks here, because rocks would have been great for that Kyurem, for the Crobat, and stuff like that. At the same time though, I want to keep this Nidoqueen around because it can switch on Hawlucha. Apparently this Crobat isn't an issue anymore because he wasn't banded like I thought he'd be. So I'm going to make the safe switch out. I'm going to go directly into my Spiritomb here, as this Musharna can't really do much to me even though I'm at low health. So he's just going to fire off a Light Screen, get that special defense up. But special defense, Light Screen's only going to be up for 5 turns, considering that he's leftovers, not Light Clay. So I'm going to get that leftovers recovery. And from here, I believe I fire off a Pain Split just to get back some of that health. Because I am running particularly low. And Spiritomb, since this Crobat wasn't banded, Spiritomb also doubles as my response to this Crobat. So I'm going to get the Pain Split off here and recover all that delicious health from this Musharna. He's going to go for a Baton Pass again. I have a slow Baton Pass. I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. He's going to go out into his Silvally this time. Yes, he goes back into his Silvally. I don't necessarily know what his Silvally set is. But I am fearing Z Parting Shot a lot in this battle. But I'm going to stay in as he goes for the Ice Beam here. And that's going to do decent damage. That's going to fire off a Will-O-Wisp here, as he already revealed he is Special Silvally, not Physical Silvally. But the little bit of chip damage does help, as I didn't get up any rocks or my spikes yet, although I really wanted to at least get up rocks at this point in the battle, but it's fine. My Spiritomb can pretty much effectively check most of his mons, surprisingly. He's going to go for a Parting Shot here. So he's doing a lot of early switching around. This is where if I had rocks up, it would be very, very helpful, because he wouldn't be getting all these free switches in and out with no consequence. I'm going to fire off another Pain Split here. Get a little bit of health back from this Crobat. As this Crobat reveals he's Black Sludge, I know I can take a Brave Bird, potentially 2, depending on his EV spread here. But if I can burn this Crobat, it would be very, very beneficial to me. He's gonna go for the Roost. So the next few turns here is going to be very, very stally, so to speak, because my Spiritomb is just going to stay in. I'm just going to go Foul Play. He's gonna Foul Play me, and he's gonna go for the Roost, and it becomes a little bit of a stally back and forth exchange of foul play versus Roost and all that stuff. Because now I've seen he's Roost, he has Super Fang, and he has U-Turn. So I'm assuming his fourth move has to be Brave Bird. Wrong, he has Heat Wave. So he was really scared of my Ferrothorn, but I did have Lock Berry, so I get at least one layer of spikes. I'm going to go for a foul play one more time, just to force him into a position where he has to Roost, and I get a switch into my Clefable and try to wish that up. So, as you see, his Crobat didn't even pack Brave Bird, so my fears of being unable to switch into flying attacks have been mitigated because he has no flying stab, which is great for me. And so I'm just going to burn this Crobat here as just to whittle it down. It also negates his Black Sludge recovery, which is very, very nice. And my Spiritomb essentially just stays in here and just walls the crap out of it. The only thing that would suck is if he gets a Heat Wave burn at this point, but at the same time it's perfectly fine because I wasn't expecting my Shadow Sneak to do much. As you see, I dodged the Heat Wave. I go for another foul play just to put even more pressure on this Crobat. But since it's Bird now, it doesn't have Brave Bird, my team is looking very, very nice. The only thing I can't do right now is switch Ferrothorn in on Crobat because of the Heat Wave. Even though I have Lock Berry, I have my reasons not to switch it in. So I'm going to keep putting him into a position where he's forced to Roost, because I want to get at least a switching into my Clefable, like I said, to get it back to full health with a Wish. So I'm going to go for the foul play here. And now he's in a position where he's forced to Roost. So I had two options here. I either could stay in Pain Split on his Roost, or he goes into the or I go hard into Clefable on the Roost. So I decided to do the latter here, go directly into my Clefable here, predicting him to go for Roost this turn, as he doesn't even have any poison coverage to take out my Clefable or pressure it out whatsoever. I've seen his moveset. The worst he can do to me, my Clefable, is Super Fang. So I felt pretty free just to fire off a Wish here, just to try to get some health back, because I took a lot of damage from that Hawlucha, and I really wish I Moonblasted, but you'll see later on in the battle that it didn't really come back to bite me that bad. So he's either going to hard switch out, or he's just going to go for that U-turn for that little chip damage. He's going to go for that U-turn, and as you see by the damage from being burnt, it did 6. Nice and 6 HP. So I'm going to get a Wish off as he goes out into his Excadrill this turn, which I pretty much expected, as nothing else is going to take a Moonblast. I could have been ballsy and like risk my Clefable, go for Flamethrower, but I felt getting my health back up would be better in this situation, considering that he does have Musharna still in the back, even though it is poison. It's lost over half its health and all that stuff. So I'll just go for the safe protect. If he has Z-Corkscrew Crash, it bypasses it, but he's going to go for the Iron Head, so to get my health back. All well and good. So seeing as though he's now Iron Head, and I'm assuming because he did bring Gigalith, his Excadrill has to be a Choice Scarf variant. I'm going to go out into my Ferrothorn here, but as you see, he's going to make a smart read. He's going to pull out and go out into his Silvally here, as I'm going to double out into my Ferrothorn, and the fact that I saw Ice Beam means he has Flamethrower. I'm not going to take an unnecessary Flamethrower from this Silvally, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go right back into my Clefable, considering that I don't have anything else I want to switch in on a Flamethrower. I could have went Starmie, but I didn't know if he was packing the Thunderbolt on the Silvally, so I didn't want to risk it. As he goes for the Flamethrower, that's a good chunk of damage. So my idea here was I'm going to Wish one more time and then try to pass it into my Spiritomb to keep that at full HP, because he still has a Musharna. My Crobat gets Wall Bite, but as you're going to see here, he's going to bust out the Z move. I'm thinking it was Z Parting Shot, but instead it is the Normalium Z, so it's going to be breakneck blitzing all over my Clefable, which does kind of suck here, because I think I was like, I think I can take a breakneck blitz, but at the range of HP Clefable was at, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna take it. I don't know what he was doing, what move it was, but look at that, my Clefable dropped. Ugh, so sad, it did nothing again. However, the chip damage is racking up on this team. I do get to go out into my Starmie this time, and I'm just gonna click Psychic here just to get some damage off on this Silvally. It also allows me to scout for Thunderbolt if he has it, but the fact that I've seen Ice Beam and Flamethrower, he goes for Parting Shot and he goes Normalium Z, meaning his fourth move was a normal type move, which means he didn't have Thunderbolt, which allowed me to freely switch out into my Starmie. He's going to Parting Shot back into his Musharna here. He's going to take that toxic damage after Leftovers Recovery and rinse and repeat the process. Whenever we send out Musharna, I'm going to go out into my Spiritomb, because like I said, I don't know what this Musharna wants to do. I've seen Light Screen, I've seen Baton Pass, so I know he's not a Calm Mind Barrier because he has to have Moonlight if he wasn't, and he has to have Psychic Stab Attack. So he gets up a Light Screen one more time. So here I'm just going to go for Foul Play. It didn't really matter to me what he's going to do. I knew Musharna's going to take a Foul Play because it's not a physical attacker. But I was at least hoping I'd get a crit or something, because Musharna can be an utter pain in the behind if it's left unchecked, and the fact that it's poison is good for me. So I'm just going to fire off a Foul Play here, and he's going to, after getting up the Light Screen on his side of the field, I almost call him Musharna, and he goes for the Healing Wish. I'm like, oh man, I really wish Spiritomb had Taunt right now, but alas, I don't. Musharna's going to drop, and the only reason why Healing Wish, that Karen Black's gonna come right back in, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta deal with this crap again. But nonetheless, Karen Black's gonna come in. Can't really stop that from happening. I'm assuming it's gonna fire off Ice Beams against my entire team, because my team is looking very, very weak to Ice Beam right now. My Ice Beam we're switching is Starmie, which I need to keep around for his Excadrill. So I could have went for Shadow Sneak there. I kind of wish I did. But I want to let my Spiritomb drop here because Musharna dropped, so it felt fair. I could go for Shadow Sneak for damage, as you're going to see why I wish I went for Shadow Sneak. I'm going for my Ferrothorn here. I'm going to Gyro Ball. I know I can take one Ice Beam from this thing, but as you see, that did over half, so I'm already assuming that's Specs Kyurem, not Scarf. So if he was Scarf Kyurem, that actually would have killed. It's funny enough. And seeing as though he is locked into Ice Beam, going out into my Starmie here on the predicted Ice Beam. If he freezes me, I do have Scald to thaw myself out, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And does under half. And I'm like, thank you, bulky Starmie, for coming in clutch. So I could go for a recover here as the Light Screen wears out, but I decided to fire off a safe Psychic because his only switching is Excadrill, which doesn't want to switch into a Scald. So he decides to go into his Silvally and essentially sack that thing off, which I didn't mind one bit. Didn't mind. Silvally wasn't doing much at this point other than Ice Beam for Nidoqueen, Flamethrower for my Ferrothorn, but he still had Heat Wave Crobat in the back. He still had Hawlucha to deal with my Ferrothorn too, and he still had Kyurem back to take out my Nidoqueen. So he's gonna let the Silvally drop. Smart play. So now things are looking good right now. So the win con right now for me is my Thundurus T, as he's going to go out into his Hawlucha one more time. The play for me, I could have switched into Nidoqueen here, but I decided to I'm thinking he didn't have anything for my Starmie, and then he reveals Thunder Punch, and then Starmie is just going to eat that up. Yum yum yum. Muy delicioso. As it's going to take out the Hawlucha with the Psychic here. So, good news, bad news. I take out the Hawlucha, but the bad news is I probably should have went to Nidoqueen to preserve my Starmie for the Excadrill. But nonetheless, that has been alleviated, as you're going to see here. He's going to go into his Excadrill to get his revenge kill on my Starmie. He can't go for Earthquake. I know he's Choice Scarf. That much is for certain. So he goes for the Iron Head here, as you see. Reveal his Choice Scarf, knew it from the start. But since he's locked into Iron Head now, I can have two plays. I either go to Ferrothorn, or go to my Thundurus and try to go for game. So, I chose the latter. So now here I have to hope I don't get Iron Head flinched. That's part 1. And we'll see. Do I get flinched? Of course I don't. So I don't get flinched. I go for my agility. So now the play, I have to nasty plot here because HP ground does not take out of Excadrill from this range. I also have to hope that he doesn't crit me with Iron Head because I need to be at least above 45 HP to not lose this game. And we live in with 50. That's going to be plenty, as we're going to fire off an HP ground right now with a +2 Thundurus Therian. And goodbye, the Excadrill. So, it's looking very, very good for me. All I have to do is fire off Thunderbolt 2 more times as he goes into his Kyurem Black, which definitely drops to a +2 Thunderbolt from this range. So he's going to pull the double out into his, he's pulled a switch to Crobat. He said afterwards he thought I was HP fighting. So he thought if I went for hidden power fighting here, I would, wear myself out, but no reason to do that as the Crobat is just going to drop to the Thunderbolt here, and his last Mon is going to be Kyurem Black. Fire off a Thunderbolt, and the Maine Red Clawitzers are going to snap their 2-game winning streak and pick up a 3-0 win over Dan and his Orlando Mudkip. Good game to Deebs. Like I said, I was really surprised at Team Preview when he didn't even bring the Raikou, and as you're going to see, it's going to kind of bite him in the butt because he didn't bring it. But nonetheless, I wasn't going to be complaining one bit about that whatsoever. He did bring some crazy, well, not really crazy, but he brought some very innovative stuff like the Healing Wish Musharna. He still had a chance to bring it back, surprisingly enough, because if he was Z Parting Shot Silvally, he would have had a third chance actually with his Kyurem, because he revealed afterwards he was indeed Specs Kyurem, as I figured, because that Ice Beam was doing way too much damage to my Ferrothorn, and it did roughly half to my Starmie. So if I didn't bring bulky Starmie, that actually would have cost me the match, because my Ice Beam resist on the team I brought was very, very minuscule. So the fact that I even came away with this win is kind of surprising, but there was some factors that came into this, like especially considering he didn't bring his Raikou, like I said. If he brought like an Assault Vest Raikou +2 HP ground, wouldn't have taken out the Thundurus, and after the Iron Head damage, HPS would have taken me out, and I would have lost to Kyurem Black Specs Ice Beam. But nonetheless, we are now 2-2 on the season. Our differential is back to 0 because every single match we play has been ended up in a 3-0, whether we win or lose. I do encourage you guys to check out Dan's side of the battle. His link will be in the description down below. Feel free to throw that guy some support. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. One other thing to note for my team is the fact that I used my last transaction of the season. My first 2 were picking up Starmie and Nidoqueen. My last one, I dropped Zoctu and I picked up Rhydon, considering that my flying resist was down to Thundurus, and I didn't have a flying resist whatsoever on this team. I needed a flying resist. I also wanted a backup ground type to cover for my Nidoqueen, and Rhydon fit the bill on both counts. It also gives me another Stealth Rocker to pair up with Ferrothorn for spikes, Nidoqueen Toxic Spikes. List goes on and on. So I have another bulky Mon. It does render that my Starmie is my only way of removing hazards, but I don't deem that really as a problem as of right now. But we are now 2-2. We play Eric week number 5, so look forward to that battle. So I'm going to get the heck out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Just leave a comment in the section down below and tell me what you guys think of the battle and all that stuff. And until the next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Later.